enough we stayed in the same race. So most of the time during the first few weeks we spent our time most of Greetings to my elders, friends, and family from all over the world. My name is Yambulela. Welcome to my YouTube channel. To everyone that has been supporting me thus far, thank you so much. I really appreciate the support. In today's video, we are going to talk about the importance of having good relationships, and also I'll give some tips on how to keep those relationships. But before I continue with the video, I want to share some verse from Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verse 9 to 10. It reads as follows. Two people are better off than one, for they can help each other succeed. If one person falls, the other can reach out and help. But someone who falls alone is in real trouble. In order to be able to keep a relationship with someone, you first need to understand the type of person they are in your life. So when I was still in high school, I believe my mom showed me a video by Tyler Perry where he uses an analogy of a tree to describe three types of people. This type of people are leaf people. They stick around for some seasons, just as leaves stick around with the tree during summer and spring, but fall off during autumn and winter. They do provide a shade for you when it gets sunny, but then when conditions start shifting towards being tough, where you have strong winds prevailing or you have experiencing cold dry weathers, they fall off. They are only meant to stick around for a certain period of time. Therefore, don't change your attitude towards leaf people or start getting hurt when that season you had with them comes to an end. For example, when I came to Cape Town for the first time, I had students I knew from back home. We were not friends, but we all knew each other because we went to the same high school and we were in the same classroom. So when we came to uni, we did the same course. Fortunately enough, we stayed in the same race. So during the first few weeks of our first year, we spent most of the time together. I remember one day we combined our lunch vouchers because we were short and we wanted to buy something to eat at the cafeteria. We went to malls together, we ate together at the dining hall, we did our laundry together, we attended orientation week together. Most of the times we were together, and those were very beautiful and happy moments for all of us. COVID hit in 2020 around March and we were required to go back home. But then when we returned later that year back to race, we no longer shared the bond we used to have. We automatically separated without any reason. But then it is a good thing that they still have their relationship because they were friends ever since high school. So that is a beautiful thing. I knew that our relationship would come to an end, but then I didn't know when. That's simply because we had a lot that wasn't common. I am happy that things didn't end on a bad page, and the experiences we shared together, I can never trade them for anything. Sharing this to show that some relationships are meant for a certain period of time. We were there for each other when we needed each other the most, because it was the first time for all of us to come and live like away from home. Because you had a relationship with someone for a short period of time doesn't mean you should change your attitude towards them when that relationship comes to an end, or when that summer or spring season comes to an end. You no longer share the bond that you used to share in our first year, but there are no bad feelings between us. Every time we come across each other, we smile to each other, we greet each other, and also ask how the other person is doing. Sometimes when one is having like something beautiful or something new about them, we compliment each other. There are no bad feelings, even though we no longer share that same bond or that same relationship we used to have. That's what I mean when I say if a season of a relationship with someone comes to an end, don't change your attitude towards them and start treating them another way. To the next type of people are branch people. They are stronger than leaf people because they are able to stick around for multiple seasons and for long periods of time. But you have to test them before you apply your whole weight on them, because they might break as they can't handle too much weight. That type of people are root people. Just as roots of a tree, they are very difficult to find. They go down behind the scenes, searching and storing up things that you need in order to develop and find your purpose. They release things like water and minerals, etc., to keep you healthy. If you go through a storm, for example, being ill-treated by others, they always make it their job to hold you and keep you by giving you love, showing you care, respect, support, etc. These are the type of people in this video I'll be sharing why it is important to have them and how you can maintain or keep your relationship with them. I always wondered, why is it the case that so many celebrities with all their money, fame, nice clothes, fancy cars and homes, etc., why would they find it worth it to commit suicide? Even though they have everything, the riches and living the life that most people would dream of having. I might be wrong, but the assumption that I could come with is that they lacked the social sphere of wealth, meaning they were not wealthy in their relationships with their root friends, family members, mentors, community, etc. The result, when storms and tough conditions prevailed, branch people started falling away. And then they didn't have enough root people to sustain them and hold them upright during those difficult times. People are very mean outside, so you need to have root people in your life that you can always come to or rely on when the world just turns against you. So this sad situation of having celebrities committing suicide really proved to me that there are things or spheres of life that money can't replace or fill up. For example, when having your 21st birthday, you need your loved ones to be around and celebrate with you. When you finally buy that first car or house, you need your parents to bless and pray over them. When you graduate, you need to hear your grandparents ululating, or on your wedding day, you need your friends as bridesmaids and your sister as a maid of honor. You need your parents to walk you down the aisle. When giving birth to your first child, you need your husband to be by your side. You need your family, you need your close friends checking and visiting you in hospital. When struggling making a decision, you need mentors to help and guide you into making a good decision. This list continues to infinity. So all these experiences money can't buy, and they will not be possible if you don't have good relationships with people. I share ways in which you can keep good relationships. I want to leave something that you can think about. So I remember in high school during life science classes, there was a session where we were taught about how predators prey on other animals. So what happens is, like, when a predator and when an animal goes out to look for food, it is very easy for a predator to hunt an animal when it is alone. For example, it is very easy for one lion to hunt a zebra when it is alone. Then the problem arises for the lion, meaning the predator, when zebras come in groups, because the stripes in zebras really confuses the predator such that it gets difficult for a lion to attack, because it becomes difficult for it, meaning the lion, to pick up one zebra. So from this little lesson I've just shared, I want to show the importance of being around, of being surrounded by people. It is very easy for the enemy to attack when you are alone, but then when you have people by your side, it is very difficult for an enemy to attack. For example, when you isolate yourself from others, it's very easy to have mental breakdowns because you feel like you are alone, there's no one, you feel all sort of things. But then, like, when you are with people, you see that you're not alone, you're all in this together, you help each other out, you lift each other up, and so forth. Now, moving on how we can keep our relationships, the first tip I would share is celebrate the other person when they achieve something. No matter how small it is, don't be jealous of them. That helps them find motivation and improve on whatever it is that they are doing, which ultimately leads to them living their life purposefully. That also helps because when time comes for you, that means you also have a support system. Second way is, don't go around talking to people about the mistakes of the other person. Instead, address whatever the issue may be with that person and find a solution moving forward. For example, I used to tell the wrong people about the challenges that my relationship with my mom faced, as they didn't make me see the fault from my side or give me suggestions on how to improve the situation with my mom. Instead, they kept on adding more on the wrong things that they knew about my mom. I I stopped sharing with them the challenges that I faced with my mom. That's when things started to improve because I got the courage to address those issues with my mom, and then we worked things out together. So I suggest like to stop talking to people about the person that the other person is doing. Instead, find courage to address those challenges with them. Is when people share something with you, don't spread it out without their permission. They told you because they felt comfortable sharing that with you and they trusted you. So if they want others to know, they would have told them. If it's something that you can't hold to yourself, you need to first ask for permission so that they don't get shocked when they find out that other people also know, whereas they only told you. For example, I have a very great sisterhood friendship with my high school friends. So whenever one of them tells me something about what they have achieved or anything, any interesting thing that they did, I soon get excited and want to share the news on the WhatsApp group that we created in 2020 with the rest of our friends so that we can all celebrate together. But then one day I did that and one of my friends wasn't ready for everyone else to know, so I had to delete the message. Now that I think of it, it is very wise to first ask for permission to share the news before. The fourth one is to respect and show appreciation, love, and care to people. Make them feel comfortable and valuable whenever they are around you. When you do this to people, they will always look forward to spending time with you, and this will make you feel valuable also. As a result, whenever maybe someone doesn't like you at rest, you don't get hurt by that because you know there are people who value you and like you the way you are. Have people who value and like you the way you are. It really starts to not matter when all other people don't like you for no reason. Sometimes we do meet people in our life who has a potential of becoming one of our root people, but then things don't work because we have pride. For example, I had a very bad relationship with my mom growing up. But when I became a new creature through Christ, I started not being comfortable with how things were between us. I wanted my relationship with my parent to work out. The Holy Spirit kept on giving me ideas on how I can go about fixing my relationship with my mother, but pride stood in the way. I asked myself, why should I be the one putting in the effort, whereas my mother is older and she is supposed to know that our relationship is not okay and needs teamwork from both of us to work out. I am sure that my mother also wanted to do something but didn't know what, or she was waiting on me to humble myself before her since I am the child. That's what I had to let go of pride in order for our relationship to work. I am glad I did because the mother and daughter relationship that I now have with my mother is one of the best things that has ever happened to me. As much as I missed it in my early ages, I am glad that things are now okay, as there are a lot of benefits that I am getting from our relationship that I wouldn't if I continued having pride or waiting upon my mother to be the one initiating the process of amending our relationship. Benefits such as for my 19th birthday, my mother organized a cake for me while she was back home and me in Cape Town. And recently she organized my favorite meat umleqwa while she was back home. She sent money and asked one of the ladies that work at the dining hall to prepare the meat for me. I also have someone I can call whenever I'm not feeling well, etc. By sharing this, I want to show you that it's never too late to work out on a relationship as long as both of the parties are still alive.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Sia. Happy birthday to you. Hooray!
There's your birthday cake from your mom. And
Happy birthday, sweetie!
Nothing to lose if you get to be the first one who starts to take steps in amending a relationship, as I didn't lose anything. The last way but not the least one is to be honest and don't lie. If you know you won't be able to tell the truth, better not say anything, especially if no one asked you. Growing up, we were not so close with my sister. In fact, we had moments where we didn't like each other. That's because my sister liked lying to get out of trouble, even though sometimes the truth was very obvious. So that really affected our relationship. My mother noticed at some point and intervened because I could no longer take it. I remember that day we both, me and my sister, were crying. Ever since that day my mother intervened, my sister started getting out of trouble, which then helped her to not lie. Now we are best sisters ever. We are best friends. We take care of each other. We laugh together. We motivate each other. We no longer fight as much as we did before. Another thing from my side that I do to prevent lying is to confess whatever it is that I have done before it is even asked. That helps to remove the guiltiness, and then I deal with the consequences and move on with my life. This really helps because once it is done and dusted, it now becomes something that we can joke about at home. Unlike when I lie, I have to keep lying whenever that wrong thing that I did is brought up. To tell the truth, that is a very uncomfortable position to be on, especially if it gets all written in your face and actions that you are not telling the truth. So it gets uncomfortable such that you end up confessing and suffer greater consequences sometimes, since you wasted the time of the other person by lying. The story before I close the video: when I was doing grade 5, my mother had spare spectacles that she wasn't wearing. That they really looked so cute, and since she was not using them, I thought she'd forgotten about them, so I took them with me to school and pretended I had glasses. So finally, I continued wearing them even though they were very uncomfortable in my eyes. Their prescription was very heavy for my eyes to bear, so I would put them in my nose for decoration. One day, while we were cleaning our classroom back in primary, we had to take our bags outside so that we can be able to clean the classroom without any distractions. Someone mistakenly broke the spectacles as they were in my bag. Yo, I was so afraid and shaking when I found out, because this happened during the time when my mother was very strong. So I decided to not report myself. Lucky me, my mother didn't ask about those spectacles for so many years, and I also forgot about them. But once in a while she would ask, and then I remembered but still lied and said I didn't know. Maybe we lost them through moving. We used to change houses, like we were renting, so we changed from house to house. So I was like, maybe we lost them during that process. So there was this other year when I was now in high school, where my mother seriously asked about them because she wanted to do new spectacles, but then wanted to use the same frame but with a different prescription. I still lied, and my mother wasn't happy because she didn't understand how could they have gone missing. She then ended up paying for a new frame, and I continued with my life. Years passed by without my mother knowing the truth. Guess what? My mother again brought this issue about these spectacles, and it was starting to be uncomfortable. But still, I didn't see the need to confess because I was afraid that my mother will beat me up. But when I gave my life to Christ and became a new creature in Him, I knew that I couldn't continue living my life in lies. So I asked God to help me tell the truth. By the help of the Holy Spirit, I got brave and went to my mom and told her everything. This happened to her spectacles many years ago. My mother couldn't punish me because of how humble I was when I told the truth, but she did show that she wasn't happy with what I have done and forgave me. Now we just joke and laugh about it. It is not something that keeps haunting me whenever it is brought up. Ever since then, I always choose to tell the truth so that I can be able to move on with my life with a clear conscience. So that's another tip. Tell the truth if you want to keep relationships. Don't lie.